Thank you very much, Terry, and a very good morning to you all. Good morning from Hong Kong. And I'm speaking from a very turbulent and very tense city. And yesterday was the first anniversary of the protests against the extradition bill. And hundreds of people, and including young people, turned out to protest, although it was illegal. And I think we are all very, very concerned about the imminent passage of the National Security Act by the National People's Congress Standing Committee, which will meet on the 18th of this month. And we see this act, this bill or this law as like driving a truck through the Chinese government, the Communist Party's policy of one country, two systems. Because ever since 1997, when Hong Kong, which was then a British colony, when we were handed over to Chinese rule, for 20 years, things were not too bad. Although we did not have democracy, we enjoy freedoms, rule of law, personal safety, more than people in some so-called democracies. But since President Xi Jinping came to power at the end of 2012, things started to go wrong because he was quite determined to crack down on his own people in mainland China and also in Hong Kong. And now I think Hong Kong is seen by the international community as in the forefront of this struggle against China, against the Communist Party. And for many years, I think you people probably know better than I do, people in the West thought the way to treat China was engagement, to assist China to rise in the world, to become strong and powerful. But then China will also adopt the behavior of the civilized world, and the people can work together happily, make money, trade, and visit each other. But that, of course, is not the case. And of course, China will not adopt democracy. In fact, President Xi Jinping's gone the other way around. And so we in Hong Kong, we are very, very scared and very alarmed. But many people will not be intimidated. That's why they turned out last night, and they want to turn out in much bigger numbers, but peacefully. Unfortunately, the administration of Carrie Lam, the chief executive, is using the COVID-19 pandemic to say that we have to limit the number of people who can gather publicly to 8. But then they are opening the theme parks. People can go to cinema, to shopping centers. So we say, how come you don't allow people to assemble peacefully? So I want to use this opportunity to tell our friends in the international community that Hong Kong is struggling very hard to keep our freedoms, our personal safety, and the rule of law. Under the national security law, there is one offense about interference from foreign forces and countries. I don't know whether this discussion with my friends in the international community will be allowed after this law is passed by the National People's Congress Standing Committee. But no matter what, we will stand firm. And Hong Kong is an international city. There are hundreds of thousands of people, foreigners living here. 300,000 Canadians, 80,000 Britons, and Americans, French, Japanese, Australians, and so on. So my dear friends, I'm reaching out to you, and I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you this morning, like I spoke to the Canadians when I went to Halifax with Beagle in November, and then I visited Toronto in December. I want to reach out to the international community to tell you that we are not fighting for independence, not secession, not the overthrow of the Communist Party, but we want the Communist Party to keep its promise under the joint declaration, which was signed with Britain in 1984 to keep the promise of the basic law, to allow us to be free, to develop democracy, to be an international city, so that you and all your countrymen and countrywomen can come and visit us, can work and live here. And if Hong Kong is free, like the China human rights lawyers told us, we are a very important city in the People's Republic of China. So please help Hong Kong to stay free, underpinned by the rule of law, independence of the judiciary, and we will continue to work as a very responsible member of the international community. Thank you very much.